Hi, my name is Sydney Armstrong, and for this video, we'll be discussing various topics over the movie Inside Out, so I hope you like and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Marcus Meleton. I'm going to discuss equifinality and input, starting with input. In the movie Inside Out, at the beginning of the movie, many of the core memories only have one emotion, but this ends up with Riley not remembering the whole story because, for example, in her memory, her happy memory where she's playing with her mom and ice hockey with her mom and dad, what she's not remembering is that her mom and dad were trying to cheer her up after she lost a game against another team. So the emotions, joy and sadness, need to mix together on that core memory. So the different emotions have to give their different inputs into the memories. And then there's also the problem of equifinality. In the movie, they have different plans for what Riley should do. There's some good plans and bad plans, and the good plans are needed to correct the bad plans. That's why they need to create multiple plans instead of just creating one plan and then hope it works. For example, anger wanted Riley to run away from home, while sadness wanted her to come to her parents and discuss her problems. All right, back to you.
Thank you, Marcus, for educating us. My name is Lindsay, and today I'm going to tell you about systems, open versus closed systems, and the environment. System theory is one of the most recognized theories within group communication. This theory comes from biology and examines how communication affects the groups at multiple levels. An example of a system is our bodies. Within our bodies, we have many systems, such as the digestive system. There are even systems within our digestive system that keep it going, like our stomach and our intestines. An example of a system from the movie that we picked, which was Inside Out, is Riley's emotions. As a group, they work together each day to form Riley's memories and behaviors. The way that emotions communicate heavily affects Riley long term. Some systems can be open and some systems can be closed. An open system is a system that directly is affected by its environment, and a closed system is one that's not very affected by its environment at all. The degree in which the group interacts with this environment determines whether the system is open or closed. An example of an open system is Riley's emotions. Again, when Riley was drinking a cold drink, she got a brain freeze, and since Riley's emotions reside in her brain, they all froze over. The emotions were directly affected by their environment, making them an open system. But what is an environment? The environment is the system/group's surroundings or conditions. There is external systems within the environment that affect the group. For example, when Riley moves towns, her environment affects her emotions. Sadness ends up making a mistake, which in turn affects Riley's whole brain. Thanks for listening. Now on to Sydney. She's going to tell us about synergy and boundary spanning. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. So I'm going to be discussing about boundary spanning. So as we know, the film Inside Out is primarily focused around an 11-year-old girl named Riley and her emotions, fear, joy, disgust, and anger represented as characters. Now, in this film, it doesn't explicitly represent the concept of boundary spanner as it is typically understood in an organizational or social context. A boundary spanner is an organizational theory referring to an individual or a role that connects and interacts with different parts of the organization or between different organizations. This role is crucial for information to get exchange and travel across different cultures, different languages, different social settings. In the movie Inside Out, it is more centered around an emotional dynamic within an individual's mind rather than in an organizational context. But we still do see it as Joy travels to different lands within Riley's mind, and she goes and she talks to different people and she exchanges information with different characters that aren't emotions, but they're just different characters within the movie. So we do kind of see this in the movie Inside Out. So the topic I will now be discussing is synergy. So synergy refers to the combined and coordinated effort of a group of elements to produce a result that is greater than the sum of an individual's contribution. Now, while the movie Inside Out doesn't directly express synergy, we definitely do see it with the teamwork and cooperation among the emotions. So, in the movie Inside Out, the synergy among the emotions is definitely evident when they learn to collaborate and understand the importance of each emotion in the shaping of Riley's emotional well-being. For example, in the movie, Joy finally understands that sadness has a crucial role in helping Riley cope with certain situations and reconnect with others on a deeper level. And so towards the end, you definitely do get to see Joy give up some control and some power to the other emotions, and this is a prime example of synergy. And so now my friend Kelsey is going to discuss some more about the movie with y'all.
Thank you so much, Sydney. My name is Kelsey Sledge, and I'm going to be talking about interdependence and output. Output is the product of a group's work. It can either be the actual product itself, or it can be the group members' feelings about the product. At the beginning of the movie, Riley gets to her new house and becomes very skeptical because it's not at all what she thinks it's going to be. So she goes up to her new room to try and make herself feel better, but it does not work at all. Joy soonly realizes that Riley and all the other emotions are very upset about this big change, so Joy decides to change the subject into imagining and redesigning Riley's new room. The other emotions see that what Joy is doing, and so they decide to get involved in it, and they all work together to imagine and design Riley's new room. At the end, this makes Riley feel a lot better about her new room and the big change that happened in her life. This shows output because it's the group members, which are all the emotions, working together, which gives the output of Riley feeling better about the new room. Now I'm going to be talking about interdependence. Interdependence is when both parties of a conversation are productive and equally responding to the conversation, having a productive and meaningful interaction. After Riley's horrible first day of school, she's having dinner with her parents and she's very upset. Fear, anger, and disgust have to take over since Joy and sadness are gone, leaving Riley's responses very bland and sassy. Riley's parents are confused and try and figure out what's going on, but Riley is not answering, leaving the conversation very unfinished and unproductive. This scene shows that interdependence is not being displayed because to have interdependence, you need to have both parties equally responding to the conversation. A scene that does show interdependence is towards the end of the movie when Riley finally comes home after she tries to run away, and she starts to explain to her parents why she's been feeling like this, why she's been sassy, mean, upset all the time. And her parents respond to her in a very thoughtful and meaningful way, ending in a very productive conversation. Thank y'all so much for listening to me. Now John is going to talk about throughput and feedback.
Thank you, Kelsey. My name is John Ramsay, and moving on to my topics, I'm going to be discussing throughput and feedback. The first I would like to discuss is throughput. Throughput is defined as a group using critical thinking and problem solving to discuss ideas and figure out how to solve problems. This is shown in Inside Out in many different scenes, but one that I find particularly compelling as a prime example of throughput is when after Joy and sadness are taken out of the headquarters, the other emotions have to try and make sure that Riley is emotionally stable without Joy and sadness. While their discussion on the matters are hectic at best, they ultimately try to make do but are unable to fully replace Joy and sadness. This shows throughput as the other emotions discuss and talk amongst themselves to try and solve the problem, ultimately unable to find a 100% viable solution, but they still make do as best they can. The next topic I want to discuss is feedback. Feedback is widely considered to be the most important element of systems theory, which gives group members the ability to adapt to changes in their situation and figure out what is or isn't working. An example of this in the movie Inside Out is how initially Joy views sadness as something that is harmful to Riley and does her best to keep her away from the console so she doesn't have any influence over Riley. However, towards the end of the movie, when Joy discovers that the core memories and Riley's overall mental health are tied to all emotions being essential, then she realizes she was wrong and gives sadness her time in the spotlight. This shows feedback as Joy learns from her mistakes and what wasn't working best for Riley, and does her best to change how she acts and thinks better to benefit Riley. Thank you for watching our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed.
Howdy again. I hope that you really enjoyed this presentation and that you learned something new about the movie we selected, Inside Out. And I hope you have a great day.